have it for you right here on We Digital Productions. Hello, everybody. My name is Dominic Papa. Of course, joining me on the broadcast tonight, our football expert, the football mind of Badi Kwas. Welcome to another telecast, Badi. It's actually week number 3 of the OFC schedule. Game number 2 for the Windsor AKO FRATMEN. They're taking on the Niagara Raiders. Game number 3 for the Raiders. They're coming off a victory last week. They won 22-14 over the GTA squad. And Badi, you look at the Niagara team this year, and there's a lot of good signs with this team, I think. They struggled last year, of course, but already this year they have a victory under their belt, and it looks like the numbers are growing there.
Absolutely, and not only numbers in terms of volume, they actually look bigger. Physically, their athletes look a little bit bigger. They look a little bit older, which means maybe they returned a bunch more bodies from the last year, and it already translated into a win early in the season, which is a good sign for them and the league.
And of course, yeah, we want competition throughout the league, and I think having that early season victory can only help this program, Badi, because again, as mentioned, they really struggled last year.
Yeah, and ultimately at the end of the day, football, dedication, you work hard, you try your best, that's all great, but a win is a win, and you want to get some wins and you want to build off of it. There's a right way to win, there's a right way to lose, I get that, but when you work so hard, you want to taste that win, and good for them for finally picking up that early season win.
As for the Windsor AKO FRATMEN, an unexpected bye week took place for them last week. Their game with the Ottawa Sooners was delayed. It'll be played later on in the schedule, October 12th to be exact. The FRATMEN will go up to Ottawa to take care of that game. Ottawa is playing this weekend, so good to see that the Sooners got their program off the ground and going in a positive motion. But for the FRATMEN, I guess the week off, not a bad thing, I guess, Badi. I mean, Coach LaChance had mentioned that there was a couple of dings within the lineup.
Absolutely, they did get banged up. I think they lost 2 of their long centers in the last game, which compromised their ability to even do some field goals and extra points. So they healed up a little bit, and they had a lot of correcting to do. There were some things that I know Coach LaChance didn't like. Receivers on top of each other, some of the struggles on the O-line, inconsistency in their blocking assignments, making sure that they know who they're blocking so that they can make those corrections. That early season bye helps them, and I actually prefer an early season bye as opposed to a late season bye as a coach.
Yeah, 26-0, the FRATMEN win their first game. I guess Coach LaChance, likes the victory. Of course, it was week 1, a little bit sloppy, as you alluded to, Badi. A lot of cleaning up done in the last week of practice, last couple of weeks. But what can they take from that game and bring into tonight?
Well, we'll start on defense. They did post that shutout. They went ahead and they won. They played solid defense, particularly their run defense was outstanding. So there's the positive on the defensive side. On the offensive side, the one thing they want to take from it is the fact that they got a lot of people involved. They had 5 different scorers. 4 receivers scored touchdowns, and another one scored a 2-point convert. So the fact that they have so many playmakers is something that I think if they can replicate that this week, it's going to send a message to the rest of the league. You can't key on one player.
All right, well, let's see if that does happen. When we come back after the break, it's the opening kickoff. Justin Prince and Badi Kwas with the call of the game. You're watching OFC Football on We Digital Productions.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front the bird to drive the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and Joseph stops it behind the net. Horseman wipes it right in front. Talk and shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour?
Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglioni Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
Welcome back, everyone, to beautiful Windsor, Ontario for tonight's coverage of Ontario Football Conference action between the 1-0 Windsor Fratmen and the 1-1 Niagara Raiders here on We Digital Productions. I'm Justin Prince alongside the booth tonight's Badi Quaz as we get all set for Week 3 action in the OFC Badi.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game because Niagara proved that they're a little bit better, more improved. They did beat the same GTA team that Windsor beat 2 weeks ago, so I look for a pretty competitive game today.
It should be an interesting matchup, especially since Niagara, as part of that 22-14 victory, had 2 players of the week in the conference, in Sebastian Gottfriedson from defensive side and Robert Rusby on the offensive side. Referees up on your screen for tonight's action. Alex Jemmy, the head referee for tonight. Chris Patton, umpire. Brent Webster, the head linesman. Line judge Bill Ganton with John Dotson, the side judge. Back judge is Bruce Carter for tonight's action with Trevor Hayes rounding out the crew as the field judge. But we're getting all set to go for football action. The Fratmen will kick things off to the Raiders to kick off tonight's action here in Windsor, Ontario. A cool 21 degrees Celsius. Cloudy skies, but not a single chance of rain. And as many have described it before today, perfect football weather.
It is beautiful, and the wind should not be a factor in any one way today, so we should see pretty good offensive balance, you hope.
Kickoff is away. We're underway here in Windsor. Picked up at about the 30-yard line. Raiders trying to cut from the left side of the field to the right. Has some blocks at the 30. Pushed down at about the 34-yard line. The return brought by Liam Smith, as that'll bring up the Raiders offense for the first time tonight.
Yeah, a young man tried to reverse field. It is a wide field here in Canada, so we tried to take it all the way from the left numbers all the way across the field to his sideline. He ran about 35 yards there, Justin, but I think he picked up a net of about 4 from where he caught it. Either way, good effort. Didn't turn the ball over, so now the Raiders have some good field position to start the game.
Raiders with the first possession, 1st and 10, marked at the 35. Fratmen stacking up the box. One safety deep in coverage. Going to the ground to start. Quick misdirection. Tackled for a gain of about maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, running back had to cut that back on his own. It looked like they were trying to run a counter to the wide side of the field, but the defensive line, and you'll see here on the replay, there was a little bit of penetration from the defensive line, and once you get that penetration in the backfield, the running back has to cut it off his track. So the defense did a nice job of getting him in, creating that spill you like to see, and the rest of the linebackers were able to rally and negate any kind of big yardage gain, and it looks like it's about 2nd and 8.
Yes, indeed. They mark it as a gain of 2 for Robert Rusby, who came off his best game in his career last week, where he had 156 on the ground. Flag on the play on 2nd down. Quick throw by Finnegan. Incomplete. But again, a flag is down after the throw from Brandon Finnegan.
Yeah, there's some new rules in football this year in Canada, particularly movement from split ends. They used to at least allow them to step over the line of scrimmage as long as the 1 foot was stationary. So you're going to see some procedural things, and this one looks like, as Alex Jemmy's indicating to the Raiders, it looks like it's against the Fratmen. They must have been lined up offside. We'll get the call right now.
Defensive offside.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
And that's going to make it from 2nd and long to 2nd and short here for the Raiders.
Good break for the Raiders. Bad discipline for the Fratmen. I know Coach Morency hates that kind of stuff. Any kind of time you're aligned like that, it's just troublesome.
2nd and 3 at the 42-yard line, just past a minute into action in Windsor, Ontario. Going back to the ground, Rusby tries to push forward and gets it out for the first down at about the 46.
And it allowed the Raiders to stay on that game plan of being able to run the ball. Whenever it's 2nd and long, you're pretty much one-dimensional at that point in time, and by being 2nd down and it was about 3. They were able to have that option of run, and they did indeed pick up about 5 yards on that running play, so they get the first down as they approach midfield.
Approaching just 2 minutes into the action here on Wade Digital Productions. Justin Prince, Badi Quaz with you for tonight's action between the FRATMEN and the Raiders. Raiders 1st and 10 at the 47. Blocker move from right side to left, 2 in the motion. One player has to stop, and that's going to draw the flags.
Yeah, and there was a slot receiver on the top side. It looked like it was number 17, Justin DeFeria, who misunderstood the snap count after the shift.
Offside on the offense. First down repeated.
So that's going to put him behind the chains already. It's going to make it 1st and 15, but miscommunication. Quarterback sent somebody in motion, and the slot receiver thought the snap should have been a little quicker. It must have been his mistake because no one else moved.
Now moving back to the 42-yard line. 2 receivers in the motion this time. Throwing on the motion. Into traffic. Nearly picked off. That'll make it 2nd and long. The defensive play made in part by Dalmas Lynch.
So far, if you haven't already noticed, it's a left-handed quarterback. So you'll see here, he's going to do a little bit of a sprint out here after he does this little play fake. And that's twice now he wants to get outside the pocket. He did take a good clean hit there, but he just threw one up for grabs. 2 receivers were sort of in the same area, so it allowed the safety and the corner to break on. It looked like the FRATMEN ran into each other, knocking each other off the potential interception.
They'll make it 2nd and 15. Again, blocker moving to the right side of the field. Quarterback sets up under center. Shuffles it away. Rusby trying to find space around the corner. Tackled just before the 40, so a loss of a couple. Makes it 3rd and very long.
That was a nice job by the FRATMEN defense stretching that pitch. They tried to hit him with a quick one. They came under center, real quick snap to the outside. You'll see here on the replay, number 42, Matt O'Neill, does a nice job of extending and really stretching this play, maintaining his leverage, cutting off the running back, and it allowed all the rest of the help to come into play. And they end up tackling him for about a 1.5 yard loss, so it's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
And you could see the sideline for the FRATMEN very excited after getting that loss on the play. But again, that's going to bring out the special teams units for the first time here tonight, as they get ready for the FRATMEN offense after this play. Punting at around the 35-yard line. Jack Beatty sends it to about the 52. Bounces forward about the 45. Brought out of bounds just past the 50, but a flag is down.
Nice aggressive play by Brandon McCraney. It did bounce, but he got to it quickly. He handled it pretty cleanly. It's only a 5-yard penalty because of the bounce, so I don't even think it's going to be impacted. At the end of the day, you're going to have a first down from the across midfield.
No yards. 5-yard penalty on the kicking team. First down.
As the no yards is confirmed on the play, we like to remind you today's game is presented by Harold Remark and Royal Page Binder Real Estate. With more than 20 years of experience, Harold can help you find your perfect home or property. Contact Harold today by phone at 519-733-1028 or view his current listings at royalpagebinder.com. Lancers throwing quickly on first down. Colton Allen incomplete at the back of a defender.
Underthrew him. He had Cody Holmes going up that slot fade. It looked like he was just got to the high side, outside shoulder of the DB, and that ball was severely underthrown by Colton Allen. He missed him flat out. Should have been a touchdown. Would have been a walk-in touchdown because he was at least 2 yards clear, and no question about it. He has the speed to pull away from people.
And now we'll see what the FRATMEN decide to do on second down. Currently continuing to shuffle players. They're going to bring in Jujo Paintsill amongst these substitutions for the wide receiver camp. One of the players who is going to be a part of this roster after not being active in week 1. FRATMEN set up for the pass. Second down. Colton Allen looking towards the symbols. Incomplete, but a flag is down in coverage.
All right, so it was incomplete. It actually looked like he had both hands on that ball. So that was Dante Lewis who got his hands up on there. But there is a flag, so we'll see here on the replay. Colton Allen's able to have a clean pocket. He steps up into the throw. Good catch by the hands, but he just pulled it and almost knocked it out by his knees. But the early indication looks like it's going to be we'll get the official call here.
Illegal contact on the defense. That penalty's declined. First down.
Yeah.
And hold on a second. They're calling for clarification, yes.
Illegal contact on the defense. That penalty's accepted. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, what happened, Justin, is they thought, the head referee thought it was a completed pass when it was actually waved off as incomplete. So the penalty is indeed accepted, and it's going to give the FRATMEN a first down at about the 36-yard line.
Approaching 4 minutes into the first quarter, FRATMEN at the 36-yard line. Allen with 3 receivers to his right, 1 on the left side. Hands it off to the ground. Nash Prier tries to push forward, brought down for a short gain of a couple.
Yeah, actually, it's a little more than just a couple. Looks like it's almost a full 5 yards, so that was a good run. It actually looked like the hole opened up a little bit wider on the left, so maybe that's something that Nash would like to see on film again. You'll see him just run an inside zone to the left, and I think if he would have bounced that just a little bit wider to the left, he might have been able to find a little more real estate, but a good run on first down.
They'll make it 2nd and 4 is what they mark on the field at the 30-yard line. 4 in the motion this time. Allen, quick throw on the wide receiver screen. Complete, rushing across the 25. Tackled at the 21-yard line is Cody Holmes.
And that's something that's scouted pre-snap. Coach LaChance is just going to think player. He motions the running back out of the backfield. You'll see here, 27 gets out in the backfield real quick. And then eventually they're just outmatched. Get it to your receiver, hat on hat. Your athlete makes one-man miss. And before you know it, he picks up comfortably 8-9 yards and gets a first down.
They'll mark it at the 21-yard line. FRATMEN approaching 1/3 of the way through the first quarter, looking to try and get the first point of the night. Prier moves to the left. Allen, quick throw again. This time, Braden McCraney tries to cut to the left. Tries to get around the defenders, but knocked it out of bounds at around the 10.
Yeah, and if his receivers would have helped him out and stay on their blocks, I think Brandon McCraney might have been able to tiptoe up that sideline. And it's the exact same concept, just to the left. Leak out the running back, try to outmatch them, get a hat on a hat, and give it to your receiver real quick. Colton Allen put a good ball out there to Brandon. He was able to keep some momentum going down that left sideline, and that resets the sticks for him. Oh, excuse me, it's just short, so it's 2nd and 1.
They marked it at the 12. But Jack Beatty amongst the defenders that were able to knock him out of bounds before reaching those sticks. 2nd and 1. Allen looking to pass again. This time to the end zone to McCraney. Touchdown, FRATMEN.
That was a good throw. That was a tight window for Colton Allen to throw. And the one thing that in Canada, the big, wide hash marks, there's a lot of space in the middle of the field. And when you have a tall quarterback, and you're going to see this here, it's a nice view from our replay crew, you're going to see that Colton Allen, being so tall in the middle, he can see the middle of the field quite clear. And when you give a little bit of protection like that, he's able to see over the top of everybody, and that is right over top of that linebacker and in a good spot as they line up to go for 2 points here.
The linebacker in coverage was Andrew Dezenicoy, but the FRATMEN going for 2. Quick play. They take the lead 8-0.
And that's just an ISO. They run the man off from the slot, and they're going to take Jared Hayes-Williams back underneath on a little bit of a slant. And the quarterback has to just put it in a spot where his receiver can box out the defender, and that's exactly what happened here. He was able to catch the ball, stay up on his feet, get the 2-point convert.
And that puts the FRATMEN once again up 8-0. But let's take a look at the CJFL Power Rankings entering tonight. The FRATMEN enter this evening 6th in the rankings with their 1-0 record. Amongst the other league competitors, Hamilton Hurricanes in 3rd, London Beefeaters inside the top 10.
Yeah, and you got to expect the Saskatoon Hilltops to be at the top. They're pretty routinely at the top of all the rankings in the FRATMEN. That's actually incorrect. They're are 1-0 right now. But they do have the early lead here to maybe improve to 2-0.
Meanwhile, Rusby trying to go on the return. Tries to cut left. Cuts back right. Carries 2 defenders. And brought down around the 22, but a flag is down after the play.
Yeah, that's real good coverage by the FRATMEN kickoff team. When you have a return man who is just going side to side and there are no lanes to run through, that's a great job of containment.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit. Niagara. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that's going to push them back the full 15. It's not half the distance in this league. Professional football is the only area in this country where major fouls are walked off only half the distance if they can't walk off if they're inside the 30. In this case, they walk the full 15 back, and it's going to pin these Raiders back all the way at their own 7-yard line.
So a long field to play for the second drive of the night for the Raiders offense. And we'll see what they can do here. Fratman trying to play the defensive side with about 9:18 to go in this first quarter. Again, under center, the quarterback. 2 in the motion. This time, 2 players collide. Ball is on the ground. Scramble for the play as whistles are blown.
Yeah, quarterback looked like he might have opened the wrong way, and when he turned back, the running back just did not mesh with him, and the ball comes out. And here we'll see on the replay that number 16, Finnegan, takes this snap. He's going to open, and the running back and him were just running into each other, and there was some sort of mesh issue, obviously. That's not the design of the play, and they're lucky to even retain the possession.
That makes it 2nd and 15 on the botch snap and handoff as Finnegan sets up under center once more. Tries to go to the ground. Rusby cuts left into a gain of tacklers as whistles are blown at around the 4 or 5. Fratman still trying to shuffle the ball.
They just got to be careful here not to take, and there comes a late flag. If that is against the Fratmen, that's going to give them, and here's a secondary flag, so somebody must have said something. We just got to see what's going to happen here. Both of those were after the whistle, as you see the referees conferencing there. And we got such a veteran crew here in this area. They've coached at just about every level and at big games across the country. So I'm going to trust that they're going to try to keep this in control as early as possible. But that roughhousing this early, you're not even angry at each other. You've only played 10 plays. We just got to eliminate that early so that we have a well-contested battle. But if this is against the Fratmen, it's going to give the Raiders a first down. And they're looking like they're talking to a captain from the Raiders. So here's the replay. Just they're trying to buy a few yards to maybe punt out of their end zone. Tackled at around the 5-yard line. So here's the scrum. The play should be over right now, but you see 2 guys wrestling back and forth, and that looked like it was Jordan Krug who was pushing into the pile. It also looked like it was Sammy Morrow who was in the pile as well. I'm not sure. Here's the call.
Okay, it was both of us.
Unnecessary roughness on the defense. Objectionable conduct on the offense. Repeat, second down.
So that's going to keep it second down, but they place the ball, it looks like, at the 10-yard line.
Third down.
Or now third down.
Third down.
They're clarifying.
What?
You are in defense.
Yes.
It looks like Alex Jemmy's still clarifying things on the field before they start this next play.
Yeah, see,
It looks like 3rd and 7 is where the ball is currently placed.
The unnecessary roughness on the defense is an automatic first down.
And there's the key. I was going to question that. Anytime there's a UR, it's an automatic first down. The objectionable conduct's only going to negate 10 yards of the penalty. So that turned out to be a net 5-yard advancement, but that UR automatic first down is accompanied by it. So you get the unnecessary roughness from the Fratmen. Somebody said something from the Raiders, so that's why they got the OC, the objectionable conduct. But that should have been a first down, which they did get it correct here. And now you're going to get the Raiders getting to scrimmage from around their own 10-yard line, 1st and 10.
I was going to say I was a bit confused in that sequence of what was going on, but now it's 1st and 10, just past 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Ball at the 10, going to the ground is Rusby. Rusby tackled in the backfield for a loss of 4 or 5.
Yeah, they tried that little counter action again, and there's just too much penetration right now. That looked like it was Josh Allen who was able to bully his way into the backfield right off the get-go. And once you get into the backfield and you get hands on him, actually it was first initiated by number 29, Brendan Bondi. And good job by the entire Fratman force unit to plug that in, and they're just piggybacking that from last week because their force unit did a great job against the run last week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago against GTA.
They'll shuffle the ball back a little bit, few more yards. and set them up at about the 9-yard line. Fratmen again stack up the box. One blocker shuffles to the left again, two in the motion. Going back to the ground, Rusby gets space to the right, tries to push forward. Brought down just past the 20 and up for a first.
Interesting little design here. It looked like they were trying to run a sort of power play to the left, but the running back made his own sort of move to cut it all the way back against the grain on his own. Good enough for the first down, so a good tough run. So now at the very least, you're not likely conceding any points if you have to punt. So that's a good job of the Raiders taking advantage of the lack of discipline from that unnecessary roughness that gave the Raiders a first down.
And have to say, I've been impressed with what we've seen in terms of Rusby, with especially his ability to cut quick to try and find space. We've seen the return game and on the ground.
Very true.
First and 10 at the 22-yard line. This time going to pass. Finnegan into traffic, intercepted. Jalen Butcher brought down out of the 16-yard line, and the Fratmen take possession in the red zone.
Yeah, that's just a bad play, bad decision. I'm not sure what he was looking at. Finnegan, there's no way he didn't see Jalen Butcher. Jalen Butcher was actually in front of the intended receiver. They do a little bit of play action with a little bit of rollout, and Butcher's right there. He's literally in the way. So good thing it wasn't intercepted, I guess, but you just did a great job of buying yourself out of the end zone and only to turn it over now as the Fratmen are set up at the 16-yard line.
So that's going to set up again first and 10.
Timeout, defense.
And the first timeout of the game called, this time by Niagara. And so far, again, you mentioned there a bit of miscommunication, these past few offensive plays. But real quick, we'd like to once again remind you today, one of today's presenting sponsors is Nonnis Athletic Incorporated. Since 1946, Nonnis has been Windsor's sports equipment specialist. Their knowledgeable and experienced football experts will fit you with the gear you need. Visit them at their showroom at 2020 Tecumseh Road West or call 519-252-5705 to find the perfect equipment for you and your sports.
Well, if history serves true, most coaches like to go home run ball after a turnover. Now, this is obviously already in field goal range, so they're not going to jeopardize potential points as long as they don't turn the ball over. But I would not be surprised if we saw 3 verticals, 3 routes over the top, and allowing the quarterback to pick the matchup he likes.
And it was talked a little bit by Coach Johns, you mentioned in the pregame, wanting to see more. Allen looking for the end zone. Is it caught by Holmes? Yes, it is. Touchdown, Fratmen.
Yeah, and that's just your athlete going over the top. Wide open. You did have 2 outside goes, and you covered the entire back of the end zone pretty much with receivers, and you'll see here Cody Holmes. Colton Allen does a good job moving the safety left, and then he throws over the top to the wide open space. And when you have an athlete like Cody Holmes and you can move the safety over, and I'm going to give credit to the quarterback, he almost undershot him, but he did move the safety over and made it an easy pitch and catch.
They're going to go for the 2-point conversion once more. Allen feeling pressure this time, throws out of the traffic. Able to find Hayes Williams, though, for the 2-point convert. So 16-0 Fratmen's the score.
They were trying to run a similar concept as the first 2-point convert, but this time they got some immediate pressure, and Colton Allen put some athleticism into that play. He was able to break that tackle, and you'll see here as there was a blitz from the inside, an O-lineman just misses a block. And there's some scramble rules, which, as we get blocked up by a fan, you get Hayes Williams coming back to the cone, and Colton Allen was able to find him as he scrambled to that side. That extends the lead, 16-0, capitalizing on the turnover from the Raiders.
And so far, the offense looking good, to say the least, 16-0, and has also been able to hold the Raiders essentially within, they haven't been able to get past half field so far in this action, Badi.
Yeah, and if they're going to have this inability to throw the ball at all, could be a long afternoon for the Raiders.
Kicked away, back to the Raiders, goes by the return men. Picked up still at about the 4 by Rusby. Rusby runs into a blocker. Gets brought down at about the 20, maybe the 21-yard line. So decent starting position again for Niagara, but again, down already by more than 2 scores.
Yeah, and though I have a little concern about the way this young man carries the ball. It looks like the point isn't covered up securely, so I'm a little concerned that if the Fratmen do punch at that ball, he might cough it up. He hasn't done so far, but that's twice I've noticed the point of the ball real loose, and that's something you don't want to see as a coach. And I'm sure they'll see some film and make some corrections here, but like you said, they're already down 16. They haven't crossed midfield, Justin. They have to try to get a drive here to at least allow their defense to recoup a little bit and maybe get some confidence moving into the second quarter.
And we'll see what they decide to do to start on offense here as they're still discussing things. It looks like before we start the first play of this drive, with 5:30 to go on the clock in the first quarter, ball set at the 21-yard line. And they're still making substitutions before the snap. As again, the Fratmen have looked strong defensively so far, have stacked the box a majority of their sets, as you see the discussion now after substitutions here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what the discussion is, because normally if there is a sideline discussion, it will involve the head referee if it's a rules question. So I'm under the inclination that this might be a blood timeout where they're given a couple minutes to allow a player to get some medical treatment. You can't have an open wound or blood exposed even on your jerseys anymore. So it looks like they're working to the sidelines to check that out.
And it's Rusby getting checked out. But Saints action is right around the corner at St. Clair College. We Digital Productions will have your exclusive coverage of Saints basketball and volleyball action starting on October the 18th. Be sure to tune in for your home to watch the OCAA Women's Basketball Championships. And it looks like that medical timeout finishing up again. You are right, it was Rusby getting checked out. In fact, some of the officials making sure Rusby was okay. And now they're getting ready to start the drive once again. Justin Prince alongside Badi Quaz with just under 5:30 to go in the first quarter. Again, setting up under center is Finnegan. 4 receivers wide. This time to Rusby on the ground on first down. Rusby pushes forward, tackled about the 24, make it the 25.
Yeah, nice inside run there. He made a jump cut. Pretty close to the line of scrimmage, and he's pretty elusive, so that's a nice little feature to have from your running back. He's not the biggest in there, but I'll tell you what, he is playing tough because he's trying to maintain his balance running through the line of scrimmage, and he does a good job of it there with that little jump cut.
Remember, once again, he was the OFC's Offensive Player of the Week for the second week of the season. It's looking strong on offense so far when he's found the space after the cuts. 2nd and 6. 2 receivers back in the motion. Finnegan brings them back. Calls an audible on the play. Brings the slot receivers forward. Botch snap over Finnegan's head. Tries to dive on it. Did Anthony Garab get it? Yes, he did. Fratmen ball.
Yeah, they've already indicated that the Fratmen do indeed have the ball, and that was just a bad snap. It looks like that was the first time they were in shotgun all game long, and that just got away from the center, and the quarterback had no chance to catch it. Now, I would have liked to seen him do a better job of jumping on it, but then again, if he's the only quarterback on the roster, if he reaches out his arm and dislocates his elbow, you're in a tough position either way. But they turn the ball over deep in their end zone again, and don't be surprised if you take a shot over the top again. You get a mismatch. My guess is you got a big, tall receiver on the outside, whether it's Ryan or somebody else, Hayes Williams. Throw a jump ball out to your big guys.
Fratmen with the ball now on first down. Quick throw. Ryan complete at about the 5-yard line. They'll make it 2nd and goal.
And they tried to run just a little quick in from Ryan, but good coverage by the defensive back. The corner did a good job of just sinking in and making a sure-handed tackle, bringing up 2nd down and 5. And my guess is this is 3-down territory. I don't think they're kicking it. They haven't kicked an extra point yet. So my guess is they're just going to go for it on 3rd down if they can't convert this. So this could very well be a running down given the fact that they might go for it on 3rd.
Nash Prier, the back this time for second down. This time they go to the ground. Prier to the end zone. Touchdown, Fratman.
Yeah, and that's a nice job of just finding the seam, pressing the hole, and just driving your feet. The line gave him just enough room to get through that left gap. It looked like just an inside zone to the left here. And you'll see that once he sees that seam, he's just going to keep his feet pushing forward. 2 hands on the ball, securing it. Good job by Prier making sure he gets himself into the end zone for the first rushing touchdown of the season for the Fratmen. The receivers probably aren't happy, but you need to have some balance on offense, and that extends the lead as they go for 2 once again.
Fratmen looking to make it 24-0. 3 receivers in the motion. Allen looking to throw. Corner, end zone. Holmes. Did he get in? 2-point conversion is good. Make it 24-0.
Yeah, and that is one of the most difficult routes to defend. It's just that smash route from the slot where the corner, where the slot receiver is just going to run 5-7 yards vertical and then right to the back cone. And you'll see here, Colton Allen puts it in a spot where only his guy can get it. And that's exactly what he does. 1 foot is all that's required. The 1 foot was able to get it, and he secured it cleanly. There was no bobble, and that's going to put it at 24. So with the 3 2-point conversions, which usually your success rate on 2-point conversions isn't 100%, good on the Fratmen. They found the end zone, if you will, 6 times already, given the fact that they've converted all their 2-point conversions.
And that's in total for Allen, the leading passer for the Fratmen coming into tonight with the dual QB system. Touchdown number 6 for him on that drive. So 24-0 for the Fratmen. We're approaching just 3 minutes into the first quarter. 3 minutes to go, rather, in the first quarter with Holmes kicking things back to Niagara. Rusby back to return. Off Rusby's hand. Picks it up, though, at the 3. Slows it down. Turns it back to reverse. Tries to gear to first. Tackled instead at about the 11 or 12.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. You do not want to come to a standstill. And he's getting a little beat up right now because he's the primary ball handler so far. I think he has at least 14 touches. So early in the game, they're utilizing him in every aspect. They've handed the ball off to him several times, and now that's the 3rd time he's handled it on, 4th time he's handled it maybe on a return. So he's already feeling a little bit of the pinch from this physical Fratman special team and defense unit.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Just 3 minutes to go in the first quarter as Niagara tries to find a way to get across their own midfield. Finnegan back under center once more. 3 receivers to the left this time. Looking to the ground, Rusby. Open space on the stretch. Cross the 25. Gets forward, brought down at about the 32, making about the 33.
And this time the containment was not there from the Fratmen, and you'll see here, and like you said, on the stretch, he did get out and he stayed on his track. Nothing deterred him from getting off of that stretch track, and he was able to maintain some speed and get it all the way up that right sideline and push it all the way to the 32-yard line. So a good job of running the ball, good blocking from the offensive line, setting that hard edge for your running back to get that stretch play all the way to the sideline.
And so far, Rusby putting some decent yardage up for the Raiders as they get to the 32-yard line after that rush. Shuffle the defensive line for the Fratmen for 1st and 10. Finnegan hands it off to Rusby. Tries to go for the misdirection instead. Goes the wrong way. Brought down to the backfield this time, part of the pressure, Matt Blair.
Yeah, just too much penetration. The gaps are just not there. The offensive line are giving up a little bit too much penetration from any blitz or even the defensive alignment that the nose tackle is occupying and gobbling up some space. So they are not getting much push up front. That's why you see Rusby having to counter that away from the counter blocks, which is a little bit weird. But this time it cost him 3 yards, and it's going to put them in a passing situation. And so far, that has not looked very good. So maybe I expect possibly some sort of screen, maybe a simpler pass, but the Fratmen will probably be ready for that too.
This time passing 2nd down, nearly intercepted. A dangerous throw right to Garib.
Yeah, dangerous is correct. First of all, there was immediate pressure right in the quarterback's face. So you do have that right away. And then he foolishly throws the ball, and Grebe, if he picks it off, is going to walk into the end zone. But he's not looking to his right, of the field. He's a left-handed quarterback. They've rolled everything right. He's only thrown right. That's going to become very, very easy for the FRATMEN to put pressure and pick it off if they can't show that they can have some balance in their throw and straight dropbacks, because right now it looks ugly and sloppy for the Raiders from a throwing perspective.
Special teams units back out once more, led by Jack Beatty. Punt floats up in the air, goes down about the 46. We'll see where they mark this one as that one. It's just mirrored that one straight up.
Yeah, it went straight up, and they blew it dead because it came down in a clutter of players. The punt only went, it looked like about 14 yards past the line of scrimmage. So for safety reasons, they blow that thing dead. And they were lucky because it looked like the punter was on a beeline going to the ball. And if that punt was not blown dead as it was, the punter, if he recovered it right at that very spot, would have resulted in a first down for the Raiders. But fortunately for the FRATMEN, they do retain possession because the referees blew that dead. And it's going to give them another possession in the plus side of the field for the FRATMEN.
Wind looking fairly calm as you see the players set up for 1st and 10 with about 25 seconds to go in the first. Allen, shuffle play. Cutting to the right side of the field, Lewis. Lewis gets some blocks. Lewis some space. Tries to sidestep, knocked out of bounds. Rolled down at about the 23-yard line.
Yeah, you have to take advantage of those opportunities when you have a chance to make a tackle in the backfield. You get a linebacker who gets the right call, he sees it, gets into the backfield, but is unable to bring Lewis down. And another athlete making another athletic play as he's able to work his way up that right sideline and turn a big negative into a positive. It turns out to be about a 22-yard run or so, and that's going to put the FRATMEN at the 28-yard line.
Last play of the first quarter, FRATMEN looking to add to their totals on the board. Allen, botch snap, still picks it up, throws it left. Curl route to traffic, incomplete, intended for Ryan. That time got tied up a bit with Liam Smith on the play as well. But either way, after 15 minutes of play, it's been all FRATMEN 24-0 here on We Digital Productions. We'll be back after this.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of OFC football as the FRATMEN lead 24-0, and so far, they've been in full control. And that's an understatement.
Understatement is correct, Justin. They have turned the ball, they've forced a couple turnovers. They've capitalized off 2 of them already. They've converted all their touchdowns with 2-point converts, so they're rolling right now.
Second down for them at scrimmage. Allen looking to the end zone. This time, Hayes Williams, incomplete.
Well, that's going to go down in my books as a drop. It looked like Hayes Williams had a step on it, had eyes on it, was in a good position to make the play, and just didn't. Just did not come down with it if we do see the replay, but I think that's what he wanted. He got the matchup he wanted on the outside, and the FRATMEN look like they're going to go for it on 3rd down. And here's the replay. Colton Allen sees it. He gets over the top of him, 2 hands on the ball. That's just a drop in my book.
Isaac Beacon, the coverage on the drop as well. FRATMEN going for 3rd and 10 meanwhile. Holmes shuffling from right side of the field to left. Passing is Allen. Looking for the sticks, gets to him. Hayes calling for traffic, gets a block. Cuts across the 10. Knocked out of bounds at about the 5-yard line.
And we're going to get roughing the passer, it looks like. Oh, excuse me. It's a hold. So that's going to negate that play. So we'll see here on the replay that, yeah, see, that was a late hit and low. I thought that should have been.
Holding on the offense.
Oh, yeah, and you can hear Coach LaChance.
That was the guy that was held, got knocked into him.
So as you hear from Alex Jemmy, he's saying the guy who was held was the one who was pushed into the quarterback, forcing, and you see the disgruntled look on Coach LaChance's face. He's pissed because it could have hurt his quarterback. That being said, it negates the first down pass and catch from Colton Allen to Cody Holmes. Nice little square in. You had Cody Holmes settle in that B seam, just square up at the sticks. Good throw.
Yeah, it was on the left side of the offensive line for referencing, as you've seen just before the pass.
So now they're still going to go for it. I would have figured with third down and
yeah, that was the hold.
20.
That was the hold.
The head referee has his mic on still, so we might get some live in-game commentary here.
We'll see what Jemmy, if indeed, has to say for 3rd and 20. Allen going for the end zone again. This time caught in traffic. Touchdown, Fratman.
And that's Cody Holmes again. Why not go to your best player? And he did it once again. Just up the seam. Colton Allen stepped into it, and he ran under it. The nice thing I like about what Cody did there, you'll see here on the replay, Cody Holmes does not flash his hands. You'll see here, down, 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 down. By not flashing his hands up, the defender can't react because he doesn't know when the ball's coming. And Cody Holmes did a great job of selling that the ball wasn't there yet and easily made the catch. What a good play by the receiver. A nice throw from the quarterback as they line up to go for 2 once again.
And remember, in week 1, Fratmen were down on long snappers for referencing. Allen, this time incomplete on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, and Colton Allen was holding his helmet. He thought that Ryan was going to do some sort of fade route, and Michael Ryan was thrown over the top.
And here's the Niagara Raiders schedule to start the season. They lost a rough game, 72-0 against the London Beefeaters. GTA Grizzlies, we mentioned 22-14 to get to 1-1. Then tonight's matchup. However, afterwards, they'll have Hamilton 2 of the next 3 weeks on the schedule.
Yeah, and that's not going to be easy, sandwiched with a trip to Ottawa. So when you have to go to Ottawa as well, that's going to make it a tough stretch because they go Windsor, Hamilton, to Ottawa, then back to Hamilton. So unfortunately, it's not going to get any easier for Niagara coming in. But they did get that early win. They're in a positive direction. I don't think they're getting physically accosted here. They're just being out-talented right now.
Kicked off once again by Holmes to the Niagara Regional Raiders. Return picked up inside the 5-yard line, brought across the 20. Moving across the 25, the 30. Shuffled down to about the 33. And a decent return that time from Isaac Beek.
Yeah, good tough run. I don't like to see the ball bouncing around, but it is a low line drive kick, so it's hard to really get underneath that and field it in the air. That said, good tough run by the return man, and the Raiders now have to try to give their defense a little bit of a break. So if you can get a couple first downs here and at least approach midfield, you got to take small victories. Go back to maybe some of the things that were successful last week if they have something in there, a little wrinkle here or there that they pulled out last week in their victory. Hopefully the coaches can settle these guys down and get on track for a couple first downs.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Raiders looking for some positives, down 30-0 so far. Looking for the toss on first down. Rusby brought down for a loss of a couple.
Yeah, and that was Jalen Butcher who brought some immediate pressure right off the get-go, and it looked like that was, and you'll see here they run this little pitch, and you'll see number 2 flash, force that back to the inside, and that's when the rest of your help comes. That was a nice read by Butcher who rolled up from the safety position to come in there and force that pitch back inside to the help.
And not only that, you seen him on that, it looked like he was trying to go and strip the ball.
Of course, like I'm sure they do a lot of drills where they're trying to reach, punch, grab, but he did his primary job, which was force the play back inside.
2nd and 12. Approaching 3 minutes into the second quarter in Windsor. Finnegan looking to pass. Up the middle, incomplete. That time intended for Williams Sonego.
Yeah, I like the concept there. They got rid of it quickly. But again, he's only looking left right now. Left-handed quarterback. Eyes have not come to the other side of the field right now. So if it's an obvious passing down, it's going to be very, very easy for Coach Morency to dial some sort of coverage where he's just going to sit there and spy somebody underneath in that short flat to the quarterback's left. And I won't be surprised if they don't take a pick six home soon.
3rd and 12. And again, the special teams unit back on the field with Jack Beatty as the punter. A lot of work for Beatty tonight. Lewis and McCraney back to return. Punted away from the 23. This time, brought up at about the 50. Lewis gets space to the left. Has just the punter to beat. Brought down by a back tackler. And Zachariah Wilms is the one who's able to stop that from going towards the end zone.
Yeah, that's a big number 99. He plays some D-line for him, Zachariah Willems, who did a nice job of hustling down and securing that. The punter was the only person left as we take a look at the FRATMEN schedule.
And you can see next week the London Beefeaters, they're going to London to play that, then back home to take on the Hamilton Hurricanes, which is always a thrill of our show, done GT on the road. Back home to London on September the 28th, then Hamilton. Should note again, this last game of the schedule was originally set for week 2, will now be at the end of the season. First down, Daniel Mayhew onto the field for the FRATMEN. Throwing on the move to Hayes Williams, in for another touchdown.
Yeah, broken play, and Dan Mayhew steps into the role, and then he steps up into the pocket, scrambles, looks a little bit to the right. He has a big arm, and he's a big body, tall quarterback again, and he throws it up to his receiver, and this time, no mistake. You'll see how he steps up into the pocket and then slides, keeps his eyes downfield, and then he throws it to a good spot. If that ball is not caught, it's out of bounds, and that gives his receiver a chance to make a pretty nice catch. And that is indeed what happened there, making up for that earlier drop from Jared Hayes Williams, as they're going to go for 2 points once again.
That's the second touchdown of the season for Mayhew, who he entered tonight with 1 TD, 1 interception, and 86 yards. And will now be looking to try and grow this lead to 38 unanswered points. 3 receivers in the motion. Looking to pass again. This time the flat incomplete. That time intended for McCraney.
Yeah, bad throw, but there wasn't the mesh or the rub that I think Coach LaChance wanted. That, in essence, should be a pick play. Brandon McCraney should be able to leak out, and there was no mesh there. So even if he had caught that, he was tackled right away.
Meanwhile, the Windsor Spitfires have tickets available for the 2019-20 season. Fans can purchase tickets online at windsorspitfires.com, wfcu-center.com, or at the WFCU Center box office for the regular season, starting off on September the 21st against the Peterborough Petes at home. The Windsor Spitfires actually in the midst of preseason action at Fort Erie tonight. They lead 2-1 against Niagara at the moment. So the Spitfires having a good preseason matchup. FRATMEN having a dominant second regular season game, up 36.
Yeah, they're matching their point total from last week already. And we are 19, not even 18 minutes into the game.
This one short kickoff, I should say, picked up at the 27, brought down at the 33. And at this point, what do you do if you're the Raiders offense?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I think if they do have a backup quarterback, maybe give the backup quarterback a chance. I did not notice a backup quarterback on the roster, but I'm sure they do somewhere. However the case may be, it's not working what they're doing right now.
During pregame warm-ups, I was seeing Jack Beatty actually take the backup QB throws, and I'm curious to see if they have to go towards that well. But at this point, it's still it's still a lot of game to play, to say the least, as one of the Raiders have to be going off the field. That is Costigan, one of the offensive linemen heading to the sideline.
Yeah, and they're already struggling as it is with their numbers at the O-line, so I don't know if they have too much of a cushion in terms of depth at the O-line, but they're going to have to try something different. Shotgun obviously didn't work earlier, but if they do have a package to give the quarterback a little bit more vision, a little bit more time, they might have to get into a shotgun set.
1st and 10. Toss play to Rusby. Rusby stuck at the line of scrimmage, loses a couple.
Yeah, Blake Olette did a nice job of making sure he secured the containment there. And you do see the running back, Rusby's getting a lot of work already, and he is just a little banged up. And here on the replay, it is, as you saw, you have Blake Olette coming up, and he secures the tackle as the rest of the crew rallies to it. That's a 2-yard loss. Earlier in the game, Rusby had a little pop in his step, and it looks like that's slowing down because I'm confident he's handled the ball a dozen to 15 times already, and he's been hit pretty hard.
He had 39 carries in the first 2 games coming into tonight. So he's having a lot of work. Compare that to Nash Puryear, the leading rusher for the FRATMEN. He had 19. Passing 2nd down, this time complete to the fullback, Greg Campbell. Campbell brought down just shy of the sticks, though, at the 41.
Yeah, and similar concept to earlier, a little bit of a play pass. They fake the little off-tackle run to the right and the sprint out to the quarterback's left, but they lose track of the wing-back this time. That little wing-back tight end who just settles out there, so somebody missed their assignment because it looked like they were in man coverage. The receiver ran off with his DB ran off with his receiver to the top side, but that is the person who is down right now. The ball carrier is the one who is down, and it looks like he's favoring his hip, his lower back, so that's another injury that they'll have to try to overcome as Greg Campbell goes walking off the field gingerly.
So Campbell now going to have to be checked by the training staff. We'll see what the Raiders decide to do for this set now. Again, it's 3rd and 3 on the field with 9:53 to go in the first half.
Yeah, it looks like they're bringing their punt team on. And if I'm the FRATMEN, I know it's 36-0. They probably don't have punt block or anything in. But right now, their punter is only setting up around 10 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Most conventional punts are from about 14, some as deep as 15, and right now he's only 10 yards away. If they were to have something, they could get to this punter quick.
Beatty. Flags are down quickly, though, so we'll have to see which direction this is on.
Yeah, if it is against a FRATMEN, that's going to result in the first down. But it was thrown right away, so maybe it's procedural.
Legal procedure on the offense. 3rd down repeated.
And that is indeed the call from Alex Jemmy. So somebody moved from their set position, and that's going to make it even a little longer. And if they had a fake in play, now that's almost out of the equation. 3rd and 3, maybe put some sort of fake in. 3rd and 8 against a pretty solid team, not likely going to convert it.
And so we'll see Beatty set up. Indeed, he will punt. Take some time, actually punts it to the sky. And it's blown quickly dead. And that only got a couple yards before the whistle.
Yeah, and again, it's in a scrum of players. For a safety perspective, there's no way that ball's going to get caught in the air. And with the ball bouncing backwards, sideways, they're just going to blow that thing dead. If it's not clearly outside the numbers, it stays between the hashes, they will always blow that dead. So their punting game isn't going well. Their passing game isn't going well. Rusby, who's their only bright, shining light so far, is getting banged up and beat up. And the FRATMEN are just going to try to go pedal to the metal as they have a 36-0 lead.
And Beatty still has to stay on the field, his initial position DB, and is covering Hayes Williams. This play, though, open to Dylan Samuels. To the end zone, again, touchdown Windsor.
And I don't even think that was necessarily a play call. I just think that was a hurry up to the line. The Raiders did not get set. There was no corner to that play. Dan Mayu saw it, and he's just like, give me the ball, give me the ball. He's clapping for it. Bang. Throws it out to number 3. That's Dylan Samuels, who ends up running 45 yards for the touchdown. There you go. It's just pitch and catch. No one else knew what was going on because there was no DB on the field. So that was just a good awareness from the quarterback saying, well, you're not going to cover him. We're going to exploit it.
And you've seen Dezenecoy trying to at least try and push him out of bounds. Instead, though, it's now 42-0 pending this two-point conversion. Again, Mayu the quarterback. Now 4 options to his right. Quick play on the screen. Pushing forward. Brought down to the 1, though. That time, it was Juju Paintsill.
That was a nice job of tackling there, keeping him short of the goal line.
And that's the 3rd time they stopped the two-point conversion.
Yeah, after the early start and getting them early, they have not converted the last couple. That said, they're in a position where they can sort of afford to. At 42-0 with no real, doesn't look like there's much optimism from the offense of the Raiders being able to overcome 42 points.
Today's game is presented by Harold Remark and Roy Page Binder Real Estate. With more than 20 years of experience, Harold can help you find your perfect home and property. Contact Harold today by phone at 5733-1028 or view his current listings at royalpagebinder.com. FRATMEN kick it off again, this time returned by Beak. Brought from the 24, cuts across the 26, finds space at the 30, but says hello to Paintsill and a bunch more tacklers. So 42-0 with still 8:53 to go in the first half, and honestly, I don't think this is what we were expecting coming in.
Well, not this dominant right off the get-go. I know the FRATMEN were disappointed that they only scored 36 points in the first game, and it just was a little sloppy. So I expected them to have a little bit more rhythm, which they do have. They haven't really run the ball very well, so I expect them to maybe go to the ground a little bit and maybe establish the line of scrimmage, because they have a lot of things to work on. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to win a national championship, so they got to work on a lot of things to get to that level. But these Raiders here just a little off.
Finnegan passing 1st and 10. This time complete. Picked up by Senego. And their first big completion of the day gets him across midfield.
Yeah, the quarterback finally had a little time, and for the first time all night, he looked across the field. So this ball went over the middle of the field, working to the quarterback's right, and he was able to get a jump ball situation, and his receiver was able to make the play as William Senego snagged that and now has breached the FRATMEN side of the field, setting up the Raiders at the 51-yard line going in.
First time across center field all evening for Niagara. They'll set up again with 2 receivers to each side. Campbell back in play as well. This time passing again. Motion left, throwing left. Into traffic, incomplete. Double coverage from Windsor this time with Senego.
Yeah, and we'll see here, again, similar concept to what they've done early. They are trying to roll out the quarterback to his strong arm here. So he does a little quick play fake, and then he's going to the outside. But he's not setting his feet. He's jumping to throw, and that's just a recipe for disaster, especially when you have athletic defensive backfield for the FRATMEN. I'm sure they're going to pick one off, but that was a good defensive play. Just make sure you bat the ball down. It's 2nd and long.
2nd and 10, 51-yard line. Still 7:30 to go in the first half. This time set up a bit more shotgun. Finnegan looking to pass up the middle. This time complete. Senego brought down at about the 43, just shy of the sticks.
All right, good little adjustment right now. The OC for the Raiders is saying, okay, you're going to be taking away a little bit more of the outside, so we're going to throw over the middle. That's a good job of catching the ball. Now, there was 2 receivers on top of each other as Dustin DeFaria was in the way as well. But they're going to hurry up to the line of scrimmage again and try to convert this.
And this is going to draw flags, though, because one of the offensive linemen stepped across the line of scrimmage. That was Badgley.
Yeah, see, I don't think the play was blown in yet, so they're not going to have a flag. Now it's officially blown in. They got lucky there.
So they pick up the flag quickly, and it'll stay 3rd and 2. So with the hurry up, they'll set up. This time, trying to go for the QB sneak. trying to see if they get across the line. No.
I don't think he got it. I think his initial surge was stopped, and on his second effort, he ran into a wall, and I think that's going to result in a first down for the FRATMEN, a turnover on downs, because he could not find anything there as underneath and over the top was defended well, as you had Matt O'Neill squeezing from the backside, and it looked like you had number 68, might have been Philly on there, or 58, sorry, Connor Sykes was underneath that pile. So that is indeed a first down on a turnover on downs from the Niagara Raiders.
First turnover on downs tonight will give the FRATMEN back the ball. Prior, the running back, in at fullback is Nathaniel Ganesh. Looking to pass, Mayu. Again, finds space. Again, finds Paintsill. A big completion across the 40 gives the FRATMEN first down again in Raiders territory.
And Mayu showing a little bit more accuracy today. That's a good bullet. Whenever you're throwing into the seam there, you want that ball thrown on you, and that's a good job. That was not a run-under type of play. That was one where you had to throw it on a line, so good read from the quarterback. He had an open receiver, and he put it in a good spot where his guy can catch it and protect himself.
And, of course, remember the FRATMEN have a dual QB system here as part of their organization for the past couple years. We've seen them start last year with Allen and Mayu, and we've seen that develop again this year. Both quarterbacks looking strong so far in this one. Receivers in the motion for first down at the 39. Prayer gets a decent run, gain of maybe 6.
Yeah, a good hard run and a pretty good stick there, a good tackle. That was one of the linebackers. It looked like Teddy Manziel, number 59, came in and made that tackle. So good blocking scheme you'll see here on the run. Preer's able to go through, but yeah, a nice fill from the linebacker who came in and made that tackle. But they still picked up a good 6.5 yards there, so it's going to bring up a second down and a long 3.
They mark it as 2nd and 4 on the board, as you said, about maybe 2nd 3 3/4. Again, Paintsill sets up on the right side. Lewis on the left side. Mayu looking to pass. Flags are down. Pass is complete to Norden. Norden tackled at the line of scrimmage, but again, flags were down right after the snap.
Yeah, that was clearly offside by the Raiders. The result of the catch is going to be awfully close to a first down. However, the offsides is going to give him a first down regardless, but we'll get the official call from Alex Jemmy.
Here's the call from Jemmy.
Offside on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
And again, the FRATMEN move the sticks forward.
Yeah, and not that you don't want to have the big player, the explosive plays, but I'm sure Coach LaChance would like to see some sustained drives. So maybe work the underneath routes right now, maybe work the running game and try to get 3, 4, 5 first downs and then get into the end zone. Again, you want the explosive plays, but at this point in time at 42-0, you have the luxury to work on some things.
1st and 10, 28. Mayu finds his man again to Lewis for the touchdown.
And so much for working on some underneath things and running the ball. That just, Dante Lewis was open and Dan Mayu threw it. Another good pass from Dan Mayu, making it a 48-0 game here. And Dan's able to set his feet, put some nice touch on the ball, put a little bit of air on that one because he knew there was a safety undercutting that. So that's a good read, knowing where the defenders are coming from. And now they're going to try to get to 50 points here as they line up for the 2-point convert.
And there's still 4 minutes to go in the first half. So this is, again, going to be an interesting one to see how these teams discuss things in the locker room at that halftime point. Mayu hands off to Prier this time. And this time, for the 4th straight attempt, the 2-point conversion fails. So it will stay 48-0 Windsor as the special teams units take the field once more.
Yeah, a little inside zone running play. Looked like it was an ISO. They had the fullback on the play, but not much surge from the left side of the line of scrimmage, which did not really open up too much of a seam for Prier to find any kind of real estate. So he tried to bully his way in, but was unable to get to that real estate into the end zone. So as it sits, like you said, there's still 4 minutes left here, and it's at 48-0. not sure where they're going to go from here if you're the Raiders.
Yeah, this has been an interesting one to say the very least. But next home game for the Fratmen, it's going to be a barn burner potentially. Hamilton Hurricanes coming to town for the first time in 2019. That is a 1 p.m. kickoff for what could be a cracker of a game.
Yeah, you're looking at one of the top teams in the country and the two top programs in the OFC by far. And we're going to get a illegal kick out of bounds here, which is going to give the ball to the Raiders at the 40-yard line, which is a mistake. Not something you ever want to do. That's way too good a field position to start. And I know Coach Morency at this point does not want to give up any points. They have a goose egg on that board, and that's carried over from last game as well. So I know they don't want to give up any points here. So the special team's compromising the field position for them.
Illegal procedure, kickoff out of bounds. By rule, first down on the 40.
So as mentioned, ball placed at the 40-yard line for the Raiders as they look to try and earn some positives. The Fratmen defense, they have had a strong performance tonight. 1st and 10. Finnegan, two receivers in the motion. This time, flags again up. Finnegan waits too long, nearly intercepted. Trying to go to Sonego, but it looks like this might be offsides. It would have been on the top of the screen.
Yeah, and both flags came out right away, so maybe the Fratmen were lined up offside. I didn't necessarily see a receiver breach the line of scrimmage. Yeah, and that's the early indication from Alex Jemmy. It is against the Fratmen, so they're going to get the 5-yard bonus here and replay first down at 1st and 5.
And a player is down in Gordy Clark.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
There's the indication that it is offsides of the Fratmen. The Fratmen looking, while they've had a couple penalties, of course, with that scramble for the ball earlier tonight, they've settled down a bit, think, on the penalty side because they were in the double digits last game.
Yeah, they were better. They had that one discipline issue early, as you mentioned, as we see Coach Rice here talking to the offensive line, trying to secure some of the blocking schemes, because I'm sure they're going to want to lean on the offensive line and get some running game going as the second half progresses. We do see the young man who was hurt on the play walking off on his own power, so Gordy Clark's working to the sideline right now, which is a good thing. Let's hope he can get himself back into the game. But they have been a little bit more disciplined. At this point in time, with it 48-0, the last thing you need to do is try to showboat or try to boost your head up. And that looks like it's William Sonego, number 1, who's also being attended to. But you don't want to get in a situation where you are getting ejected from the game. There's no need to taunt anyone right now. It looks like you're the better team, and this does not look nearly as good as the last young man. He cannot put any pressure on his left foot right now, his leg.
And Sonego being helped to the sideline by a part of the coaching staff as well as Caleb Patron. And Sonego has been one of the main positives in the second quarter too, with a few of those big catches. And now it'll be 1st and 5 on the field at the 45-yard line. This time to the ground, pushing forward. And Robert Rusby able to get a few scramble for the ball potentially.
No, the whistle was already blown. They've already marked forward. Progress was stopped. So he picked up 1 yard. He's going to bring up 2nd and 4.
Either way, gain of 1 on the play as we slowly approach the 3-minute warning in this one. But as this game continues, it was talked by Coach LaChance that in this early part of the season, looking to focus on development of players on the offensive line and various other positions.
Yeah, they're young. They lost a few to graduation, a couple surprise players not returning. So they have a little inexperience on the offensive line. Not a lot of game experience at this level. So I know Coach LaChance is going to be leaning heavily on getting them as much experience as possible early on, get some run action going, so that by the time they get to Hamilton, they're ready for a big matchup.
2nd and 4. This time incomplete from Finnegan.
And we're going to get a late hit on the quarterback. So he looks like he's hurt, and now we get another flag. So it's definitely going to be a first down here. There's no question, and it looks like it was number 42, Matt O'Neill, who got the hit. This was the previous running play. So there's his forward progress stop. But we definitely have a first down here for the Raiders, because here's the replay as Matt O'Neill. No question, his hat was high. Even if it wasn't late, you can't hit towards the head or shoulders of the quarterback. Here's the call.
Unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer on the defense. Also, unnecessary roughness, late hit on the defense.
And the second flag was to a player known for his Ravens experience, in Octavian Fania, I should say, that is appearing for the first time this season tonight.
And that's a 30-yard penalty, and that we just finished saying they haven't had the discipline issues, and only to turn around and give them 30 yards and walk them all the way up to the 34-yard line, approaching the red zone. Good on the quarterback, Brandon Finnegan, to be able to get back up and into the play here. But that's the last thing you want to see if you're Coach Morency as the D coordinator and Coach LaChance, the head coach.
They'll put Jordan Krug back in at defensive end. To the ground, Rusby. Into a crowd of tacklers as the play is blown down for the loss of 2. Make it 3.
Yeah, that was dead in its tracks. Great job again penetrating. That inside counter run play has gone absolutely nowhere because the Fratman Force unit is just gobbling up any of the down blocks that they're trying to execute so they can bring some counter action from linemen around. So it's just not working for them right now. And as the game progresses, these offensive linemen have to start to move their feet. And they're pretty big. They look pretty athletic. So they're going to have to try to lean on them downhill rather than some of these side-to-side counter actions.
2nd and 12. Finnegan looks to pass. Intercepted. This time by Josh Allen. Allen off to the races. Tries to shut off Rusby, brought down at about the 27.
And there, they did that counter action again. Pull 2 offensive linemen to the right, fake the counter with that little boot action to the left. And this time, Josh Allen just sitting there watching the quarterback's eyes. Didn't take his eyes off the quarterback as he was expanding to that hook curl. And if it wasn't for Rugsby there, who made the touchdown saving tackle, that would have been a pick 6. So the Fratmen are now set up well into the Niagara region at the 29-yard line, and maybe they're going over the top again here. Turnover, sudden change, minute 50 left. Try to get to 50 points in the first half.
And that would be something. I'm just going to say something. David Arayam is now the running back for this play, with Mayu still in at quarterback. McCraney shuffles right. Minute 45 to go. Mayu passing to McCraney, complete. McCraney pushes forward, brought down to the 6. So 1st and goal, Fratman coming up.
I'm impressed with both quarterbacks. They're exploiting the middle of the field here, which is awesome. If you can keep doing that, you're going to put so much stress on the defense. Passing over the middle of the field will open up every avenue of the passing game because the safety is going to get stuck in the middle watching all that. So then you can get to the outside, the one-on-one matchups you might be looking for with some of your tall receivers like Michael Ryan on the outside. So at the end of the day, that's great for both quarterbacks to see that, and I know Coach LaChance loves seeing that.
1st and goal, ball placed at the 7. Mayu looking middle. This time batted down, incomplete.
Yeah, this time Teddy Mansell, the linebacker, it looked like number 59, read the quarterback's eyes. Dan actually really really set his mind on throwing to one person there. Eyes never came off of that, so fortunately it wasn't intercepted.
And Mayu is actually having a discussion with Coach LaChance about that, it looks like, and clarifying the next play.
Yeah, every once in a while you have to look off. And Colton Allen did a nice job of that early, moving the safeties and the linebackers. Eye discipline is so important at the quarterback level to move bodies, to create that space. That time Dan Mayu just looked at it.
Didn't go through the progressions for his read. That's what you're basically saying.
And now we have a timeout on the field. The Fratmen are going to just there was a little confusion. The play clock was running out. And under 3 minutes, you can't afford to take a penalty because it's a loss of down. So you got to take the time out to save your down.
Either way, second and goal, minute 16 on the clock and rolling down. Mayu passing, wide open, touchdown. And this time to Holmes and make it an unanswered 54 straight.
Yeah, well, Cody Holmes' early season so far is probably the league's offensive player of the year. He's got, 5 or 6 touchdowns already. He's got a few today. Pretty sure you might want to watch him, and he just ran up the seam by himself, and Dan Mayu just threw it up, and he ran under it. That was not difficult. That was just sort of street yard, backyard catch.
He had just one receiving touchdown entering tonight from the GTA Grizzlies matchup. That total has definitely increased a few times finding the end zone. Mayu passing for the 2-point conversion. Incomplete, dropped.
And that was a better look from Dan Mayu. He looked left first, made sure he held the linebackers, then came back to that underneath curl route from, it looked like it was number 14 or 15, Jared Hayes-Williams, and that was another drop. They would have expected to convert that one, but either way, they do have 54 points up, and this is getting clearly one-sided and out of hand.
And again, FRATMEN will kick it off to the Raiders right now. And what has been a domination fest.
And some people might be asking, why aren't they trying the extra point?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know right now they don't have a solid kicker. Cody Holmes is kicking right now, and if you watch his kickoffs here, he takes these long run-ups and they're toe kicks and they're barely getting up in the air. They just don't seem to have a place kicker on the roster right now, and it's this game right now, it's not hurting them, but that extra point might cost them somewhere down the road if they can't get a kicker on the roster sometime soon.
Holmes that time went for the squib kick and was returned to about the 43, but I was about to bring that up a little bit. We've seen the issues with lawn snappers in week 1, and this time I'm seeing Holmes basically no field goal attempts or extra point attempts, just the 2-point conversions this week.
Like, I watched the entire pregame, Justin, and I did not see anyone doing any extra points or place kicking. I saw some punting, I saw some long snapping going on, but traditionally you get your specialists out, which include your holder, your snapper, and your kicker, and your place kicker gets a dozen kicks in, kickoffs, extra points. They just don't seem to have that in their system right now, and it is what it is. There's not much you can do. As you see here, another failed run attempt as the penetration from the force unit's getting into the backfield instantly right now, and it's bringing up a 2nd down and 12.
So a loss of market 3, in fact, to 2nd and 13, as the offensive line starting to show a bit of frustration after that one. They've had some good blocks for the Raiders' offensive line tonight, but in our cases, we've seen the defense collapse in knowing the exact direction the run was going.
Yeah, and at some point in time, I want them just to lean forward on them. They're doing a lot of movement side to side. Like, just go forward, straight at them, as another botched snap here.
Then again, brought down, still in a mix of tacklers, whistle blown. It'd be a loss of a couple after the botched snap, so make it 3rd and long with 33 seconds in closing in the first half.
Yeah, honestly, I think the center thought that the quarterback was under. That ball came up to the butt of the center as opposed to shotgun action. So he thought the quarterback was coming under center, and that is not the case. And it botched the snap. It went right off the inside part of his right butt cheek, and it popped up, and the quarterback was lucky even to pick that up. It did lose a couple more yards as the punt team comes in, but this has been no good. They've only averaged 12, 13 yards in the air.
Punting again are the Raiders, this time straight up. Blown dead again in the traffic around the 50, make it around center field.
Yeah, and that ball went 14 yards, 15 yards. At the end of the day, nothing is going well for the Raiders. I know they came off a win. There was a positive, especially after getting beat by London 72-0. They have to settle things down here, and I don't know how. I can't say, oh, try this or try that. Maybe if you have a backup quarterback, maybe you can put something in. Defensively, go to a nickel package, get some extra defensive backs in the field, take away some of the receivers, get some cloud coverage, maybe dial up a blitz to get to the quarterback.
We'll see what they do with 20 seconds left. Mayu again on the field offensively, this time to the ground. Trying to cut towards the edge. Riem finding space. Knocked it out of bounds at the 32.
We do have a flag on the play, so if this is a hold, this is going to come all the way back. And it is. That's the indication that it's going to come back. So that run goes for nothing, and they're going to bring up a first down and 20 here.
Waiting for the official indication. Yes, that is on the FRATMEN. As Jemmy comes up to announce the call.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Offensive penalty, holding.
And that's going to move it to the 46-yard line as mentioned. So first in 20 now coming up.
Yeah, and my guess is they had no choice but to call that simply because that edge was so wide open. So the hold was probably at the point of attack, which opened up that big long run.
Raiders coverage have few corners deep. This time back to the ground though. Riem across the 50. Moves forward, brought down at about the Raiders 53.
Yeah, and that, good comeback play for the FRATMEN. They run a little counter tray action, so they're going to bring a lineman around the horn, and Riem's going to get that ball. They get to the edge, and I like when he makes his first cut, he decides, I'm going to run over somebody, protects the ball, and picks up about 4 yards after first contact. So that's going to bring him into second down and 8.5, so a good 12-yard run there on the play.
And for Riem, these are some of his first carries of the night. And to this point, we've already seen some players start to get some experience this evening. Daniel Squalls now sets up on the outside, the 6'4" receiver. Watch him on the bottom. Joined on that level by Norden. 2nd and 9. Mayu looks right. Pressure in the backfield. Trying to avoid the sack, throws it away. That time it was the defensive player of the week, Sebastian Gottfriedson, able to provide the pressure. As that will end off the first half. Oh boy, 54-0 here in this OFC matchup between the FRATMEN and the Raiders. Halftime coverage with Don Papa coming up after these messages here on We Digital Productions.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front the Berg, a drive, the save. Pass to the next shot, the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marksman White's right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglione Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
Alumni Field here in Windsor, Ontario, the site of OFC football action on We Digital Productions. It's the AKO FRATMEN and the Niagara Raiders doing battle here tonight at the Alumni Field. It's all FRATMEN after the first half of play. They lead at 54-0. Associate Coach Mike Morency joins us. Coach, not too many complaints, I don't think, about that first half here.
No, I mean, we did exactly what we set out to do. I think we threw the ball real crisply and distributed the ball to different guys. Everybody got some touches and stuff like that. Both our quarterbacks got some work. All of our receivers got into the game and got a touch at least. So, I mean, we're spreading it around a little bit. But with the week off, we looked pretty good for having that week off last week, which didn't come at the most opportune time.
Yeah, no, and that was a concern, I'm sure, going into this game because you only had the one game under your belt. With that said, are you surprised at all, Coach? I mean, the guys, I know you got some really good receivers this year, but there's a lot of they're wide open. I mean, the routes they're running must be pretty effective.
It's a pretty good group. I mean, it's a pretty talented and very athletic group of guys. And I mean, when you cover 2 or 3 of them, you still got 2 pretty good guys who are, maybe against not the stoutest of deep back, that type of thing. So it's a pretty talented group. I mean, our running game is way behind our passing game. We're going to pass the ball a lot all year long because that's going to be the strength of our team without having a real strong offensive line yet. It's coming, but it's a work in progress. So, I mean, we're going to wing it until we get that offensive line in shape.
6 quarters into the OFC season here, Coach Morency, and on your defensive side of the ball, you haven't surrendered a point yet. And I don't know if the Niagara Raiders have been past the 40-yard line tonight.
Did a pretty good job. Our front's doing a real good job getting some pressure. The running back, he's got great feet. They're a young fellow, number 11. He's got great feet. We got to keep him in the pocket. A couple times he got outside, it really hurt us. So that's our emphasis in the second half is to make sure we turn everything back to the inside linebackers. But so far, good job by our guys on the defensive front.
Yeah, you mentioned the second half. I would imagine some of the backups will get to play in this half, no question about that. But I guess, what do you and Coach Lassance have to guard against? I mean, next week you got to go to London. That's going to be a much tougher contest, as we know. But you don't want some of the habits
It's important for the young guys to get some work because you never know when you're going to need them. So we started sprinkling the guys in mid-second quarter and getting a lot of the younger kids in and getting them some reps. They don't always get a lot of reps. If the games are close, they don't get a lot of reps. So I mean, I think it's important to get them in, get them some reps, make them a little bit better. So when they go into a big game, they know exactly what. We've made a lot of fundamental mistakes so far. Guys just not knowing where to be, stuff like that. So you can iron that kind of stuff out in a game like this.
All right. Appreciate the time, Coach. Good luck in the second.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Coach Mike Morency helping us out here. His team very effective in that first half, as mentioned, 54-0. They're leading the Niagara Raiders. We didn't expect that type of score here tonight. Niagara again coming off a victory, 22-14 against GTA last week. Obviously, that's not carrying over this week. We're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to talk to Joe Cleroux when we come back. Joe is now on the board of the CJFL. Of course, Joe works with the FRATMEN football program, but a very good honor for Joe to be a part of that CJFL board of directors. We'll have that for you right after these words. This is OFC Football on We Digital Productions.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor-Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berg, a drive, the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marksman white side right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Here on We Digital Productions, the FRATMEN leading the Niagara Raiders after first half of play, 54-0 in favor of the FRATMEN. Obviously, all FRATMEN here tonight. We'll see what happens here in the second half. Expecting a much different Niagara team, a much different effort from Niagara in the second half. Joe Cleroux, as promised, joining us on the broadcast. Joe, of course, one of the members of the FRATMEN football team, also of the OFC, but he's also on the board with the Canadian Junior Football League. Just got that appointment in the off-season, so congratulations on the appointment, Joe. And what exactly does that entail now?
Well, that's coming up with fundraising and just seeing how the West is so successful in their marketing, not necessarily game day operations. It's more marketing, and see how they, because I was just recently in Kelowna and then recently in BC for meetings, and while I was there, I got a chance to check out a few games and just see how they work their marketing, their gates, their concessions, so on and so forth, so we can, kind of mimic it here to be a little more profitable.
Yeah. Now, you're also representing the UFC now on the board with the CJFL, correct?
Yes.
And that,
yes.
that entails what?
Well, that entails exactly what I told you. That was my I guess reason for being elected, is to raise funds and see if we can change the OFC and be a little more competitive with the West.
What did you see out west that I guess kind of stood out to you, caught your eye, and some ideas that maybe you can implement even this season with the OFC?
Well, I seen the crowds were really big, and they have great concessions. They have great enthusiasm, and I think their promotion is great and something we need to learn from.
Of course, it always helps when you have a nice crowd on hand, and something that we've got to get back to with the UFC. Of course, within the OFC, there's ongoing meetings. There's good news coming down the road for the league. There's going to be a new team coming in next year, from what we understand. So there's still a very good interest for this team. But what is priority, do you think, to put everybody on a level playing surface here, Joe?
Well, priority is, yes, to create a little bit of parity in the league. We need the weaker teams to get better and show some respect to the weaker teams so they don't get discouraged.
Of course, player development is a key thing. In your playing days, players, it wasn't unusual for 3-4 players to get a call to the CFL to get to the camps. A couple of those kids even making the squads or playing on the practice squads. Of course, that's died a little bit here, and something that I think the OFC really has to get back to.
Yeah, it's definitely a relationship with the CFL that we have to rekindle. And as far as sponsorship and them looking to us as an actual junior feeder, not just to the CIS level. I think we have a really good product on the field, and we do send some kids to the CFL, and they do have some degree of success there.
Interesting. You've gone full circle with all of this, Joe. You used to be a player, as I mentioned, and an all-Canadian at that. You were an outstanding player with the FRATMEN and had some great years there, and now you're working in the management side of it. And we're very fortunate to have you involved. Your passion and enthusiasm is unbelievable. How gratifying is it for you, and why have you taken such a role with all of this?
Well, one of the reasons is what AKO has given to me in the past, and I just want to be here to repay them, repay the program and to see the kids succeed.
Well, you've repaid them in big dividends. So appreciate the time. Great to have you back in town with us, and I know you and I will get a chance to talk down the road.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, Joe Clue, one of the great guys, that's for sure. Does a lot of great work, not only for this FRATMEN team, but now for the entire OFC. So very fortunate to have him on board. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll get set up for second half action. This is OFC Football on We Digital Productions.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglione Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berman, drive the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes it right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save!
You're watching We Digital.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglione Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
You're looking at the beautiful Ambassador Bridge here in Windsor, Ontario, as we get ready for the start of second half action in the OFC between the Windsor FRATMEN and the Niagara Raiders. 54-0 is your score here in the Rose City at Alumni Field. Justin Prince alongside Badi Quaz as we get ready for the final 30 minutes of action in regulation here. Right now, it has been all FRATMEN from the opening kick all the way to the final whistle of the first half so far.
Unquestionably, it has been all FRATMEN. It's going to continue to be all FRATMEN. There's no way around it. These are two different teams on the field right now. You're going to have to find a diamond in the rough if you're Niagara. Find something positive to come out of. Work something. If you're the FRATMEN, you have to play disciplined football. You do not want to have this going out of control. Now, I did see an early indicator from the referees that they're going to wind the clock in, and if our clock is already started. So the coaches must have agreed that they can run this game clock in the second half on a continual movement, which means the second half is probably going to go a little quicker. And that's okay. Niagara understands that, listen, we got a long season to go. We got a tough stretch coming forward. That's probably for the better. Just run this clock going here and allow them maybe to get home at a little bit more of a reasonable hour. It's 8:40 local, so this game they might be able to get on the road by 9:30ish and hopefully stop to eat and get back a little after midnight, maybe around let's say 1 o'clock in the morning if they can make good transition, good time on the highway.
They're already with about a minute into the third quarter with the rolling clock here as we still wait for the opening kickoff to the second half. FRATMEN are actually bringing the return men in a bit this time, as this one's a booming kick. Picked up at about the 17. McCraney cuts left, looks for a hole, finds some space, tries to go to the sideline, knocked out about maybe the 50. As McCraney sets up the FRATMEN in good field position. And McCraney's been an explosive player for the FRATMEN since he's put on that number 1 jersey, and so far has had some explosive plays in 2019, to say the least.
Absolutely. He plays a lot bigger than his stature. On paper, he's 5'7", 160. He runs the ball like he's about 200 pounds, and he has just the strength in his legs to keep balance. I don't know if I've seen him take that hard hit because he has a low center of gravity, because he's a little smaller, yet he's thick. He's bigger for a guy his size, so he plays a lot bigger than that paper stature that is listed on our game sheet.
1st and 10 to Dante Lewis on the jet sweep, brought down at the 49. So a gain of 4 to start the first play from scrimmage to the first half here.
Yeah, and just Dante Lewis is another athlete that they're trying to get involved. We've already seen several athletes. I think 6 or 7 different players have touchdowns now for the FRATMEN this season already. So it's not going to be a one-trick pony for this team for the most part. And they have 2 capable quarterbacks, as evidenced already in the first 2 games, splitting time with both quarterbacks finding the end zone. We see Colton Allen back in here. It's going to be the evolution, the development of this offensive line, Justin, that's going to dictate how far this FRATMEN team is going to go on offense.
2nd and 6, Allen with protection throws to Lewis, incomplete. That time underthrown.
Severely underthrown, but also the wrong decision. There's triple coverage there. He needs to be able to come back underneath that because it looked like Jared Hayes-Williams on a little bit of a dig route underneath that was clearing out and coming open. So in this case, he could have used his eyes a little better. Keep the safety deep and then check that back underneath to his receiver. I think that was a missed opportunity for him there. But so far, I think that might be his 2nd or 3rd incompletion this whole game. So he's played quite well. He's taken care of the ball as well.
Allen going for it on 3rd down. Steps out of the pocket. Scrambles right. Looks for a man to the sideline, complete. Hayes-Williams. Hayes-Williams brought down about the 45 as the drive continues. And there's differences you notice in the play style, though, between what we've seen from Allen and Mayu. Of course, when they came in, it was known as a bit of leadership with Allen, had experience in the Lancers, having to start in a terminal 2017 season. Mayu, known for the strong arm. What have you been seeing in their development as now they're in the midst of their 2nd season with the team?
Well, Colton definitely has poise in the pocket, so he's sitting there, he's reading the defense, going through his checkdowns, and he's relying on his brain to help him get through all his progressions and see the field a little bit more completely. Whereas Dan Mayu he wants to throw the ball deep over the top and doesn't have that the eye discipline yet to move the safeties. He's relying on that big arm of his. So he'll evolve into that, but he's completing a lot more passes and using the middle of the field more this year than he even did at all last year over the course of a whole season. So both these quarterbacks have received some good coaching, and both of them have evolved and are more than capable. I'd venture to guess both of these quarterbacks could very much challenge to start on any team in the OFC, and they're both here working together, pushing each other.
And it's been working for the FRATMEN, have to say, since they started last year with this system. And Prayer going to the ground on 2nd and 5. Pushes forward, brought down around the sticks. This might be enough, yes, indeed, for another 1st down.
Yeah, and you know what? The one thing you said is it's been working for them. It has been, I think, probably because both of them have a mutual respect for what they're trying to do. And it helps that Coach Lachance doesn't have to change the system. It's not like you're going from a pocket passer to a athlete sprint read option type quarterback. They're both big arm quarterbacks, both tall, both with some athleticism. So it's nice that they can both develop and get some experience.
1st and 10. This time Prayer back on the ground. Sheds off one tackler. Finds space across the 20. Goes to the right side of the field. To the 10, the 5. Brought down for 1st and goal.
Yeah, nice run by Prayer. He worked his way up the left sideline. He's protecting the ball nice and high and tight. He's keeping his feet driving. And he made a couple guys miss early and then was able to backtrack across up the middle of the field. Good for him. He hasn't had a lot of work this whole season. I know he had good yardage in the first game, but he was not needed a whole bunch. And maybe in the second half here, particularly this third quarter, he'll get 5 or 6 carries. Maybe Ream will come in the fourth quarter and get his share of carries, but good run so far and good push from that offensive line.
Don't forget they also have players such as Samuel Tashani, who missed week 1 from family issues, active again this week. Prayer on the ground, tackled for a gain of a few on 1st and goal.
Yeah, and that's Zechariah Williams. He's had a nice game so far from the defensive side of the field. He's made a few tackles. He's pressured the quarterback. Made a couple special teams plays. So he's been a standout for the Raiders on defense. So good on him to keep that fight up as he's battling inside with some of these young FRATMEN linemen.
2nd and goal, ball placed at the 3-yard line. Watch the fullback to the right side of Allen. That is Nathaniel Ganesh. As they'll go to the ground, to the right side. Did he get in touch in the plane? No, they say just short. 3rd and goal.
Yeah, and the one thing I would like to see is I'd like to see more white jerseys from the bigs up front, just staying on their blocks a little longer. That's the kind of scrum that you need to just push into the pile. You're only inches away. I know they're going to go for it here on 3rd down, and they're going to either wedge it or just hand the ball off to Prayer once again. But I want to see the linemen on every single one of these short yardage type plays just keep driving and sustaining and pushing.
This time, botch snap. Allen tries to take it himself instead. Fighting at the line of scrimmage. Short turnover on downs. And a helmet is on the ground from Allen.
Yeah, unfortunately, the botched snap did not allow Colton Allen to get that handoff off, and it looked like it was going to be just an ISO play, and they had a lead block. They had a hole there, but the bad snap resulted in a turnover at the goal line, which is you don't want to see if you're Coach Lachance. He's trying to work things out here. And then there was some pushing and shoving, so it's definitely going to be a turnover on downs. And now we're going to get the call as to what that penalty is going to do, move them out of their goalposts or not.
And you see both teams swapping side.
Unnecessary roughness on blue. Ball be placed at the 1-yard line, 1st down.
Yeah, so the penalty was for 0 yards. As it turned out, it was after the play. So the turnover on down counts. The ball goes to the 1-yard line, and they can't back it up 15 yards because you're at the absolute limit as to where you can back up, which is the 1-yard line. So now the Raiders held. Good job on the defense. That's a good positive as we see one of the offensive linemen. That's the center, Mike McLaughlin, who's coming off the field right now. It looks like he was just nursing an arm, just a shoulder, but he's walking comfortably right now, so maybe he was just winded.
Either way, as mentioned, Niagara will have the ball at their own 1-yard line. We'll see what they elect to do on this play situation here. Finnegan sets up under center. 2 receivers, the motion on the left. Finnegan, toss play. Rusby trying to get out of his own end zone. Brought down just around the 2 and able to avoid the safety.
Wow. No peculiar call. You pitch the ball 7 yards deep into the end zone and you try to get back 1 extra yard. Well, I mean, at this point you're trying something, but
it looks like they're trying to attack the outside and not feeling confident about the inside run. No offense to Niagara.
No, you're right. They're not confident about the inside run, but it's a peculiar call. I'd rather see them work on a pass. Or quite frankly, I still think work on a downhill run. You're going to need to dig yourself out of these holes in the course of a season. I don't think from the shadows of your goalpost you're going to pitch it and expect a ton of success.
Just 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. That's how quick this game has gone now with the rolling clock in the second half. Botched hit toss-off. Still scrambling on it is Finnegan. Who's got possession? They're going to say safety regardless.
Right now, Blake Olette is saying to himself, I should not have lost the handle of this ball. This ball was sitting there, and he had it, and it squirted right through his hands, and it allowed Finnegan to come right back on it, and it is a safety in turn. Now, it looks like the FRATMEN offense is taking the field, which means Coach LaChance is electing to scrimmage from the 35-yard line on the safety. He could indeed opt to have the visitors kick off, but I think he wants to get his offense back on the field as quickly as possible to try to recover from that sour taste in their mouth by turning the ball over on downs at the 1-yard line.
And just 3:20 to go in this third quarter with the rolling clock. They'll set up on the left side of the field. And once again, the offense getting ready to go back to work. Colton Allen stays in at quarterback.
What I would like to see the FRATMEN try to do here is maybe do something where they're doing a little bit of their counter runs. They've only run one counter tray just to give their linemen a little experience to try to navigate through some traffic.
We'll see what they decide to do in the 1st and 10. This time pass. Allen steps up, throws in the motion, finds Holmes. Caught at about the 47, but whistle's blown.
Yeah, it looked like he went to a knee to catch the ball. And once his knee is down, he's down. And some early pressure here. Colton Allen steps up, keeps his eyes down the field, and is able to find Cody Holmes, who's running towards the sideline. And as you saw in the replay, he went down to handle it on his knee. So they're going to just blow it dead there. And it's a big pickup as they picked up. It looked like a full 40 yards almost as they get to the 45-yard line on the other side.
And that was one of the, about 4 or 5 times at least, we've seen pressure breakthrough from the Raiders defensive line tonight. See how the pressure is on 1st and 10. Allen passing again, stepping up again. This time runs forward, brought down for a gain of a few on the scramble.
Yeah, as soon as he decided to scramble there at 56-0, Justin, I'm going to tell him right now, slide. Don't take a hit. I don't care about 3-yard gain. It's not in your best interest, or quite frankly, throw the ball away. You do not need to take a hit there. You do not need to get even a slight bump. You don't want anything on that elbow, a finger dislocated, something stupid. Throw the ball away there. You need to know where you're at in the dynamic of the game. He needs to know better just for his own personal protection.
3 in the motion on 2nd and 6. Allen, play quickly thrown to Lynch, blown dead. And Lynch looked like he didn't get a proper handle of that one.
Yeah, it was short hop to him. It was just thrown right to the ground there. And that one, I think Colton just rushed a little bit. He needed to turn his shoulders completely to that outside third where he was trying to throw to, and he would have delivered a little bit more power, more like a pitcher winding up.
And they're going on for 3rd and 6, and you talked about it a bit in the first half when the 2-point conversions. Holmes is currently the player doing the kickoffs for the FRATMEN. Technically no kicker punter specifically on the roster, but on 3rd down, intercepted. And there's a positive for Jack Beatty, the first turnover by the FRATMEN via INT of the night.
Yeah, and that's, again, something if you're Coach LaChance you don't want to see. You're going to go for it on 3rd down, which is fine, but Colton Allen did not look off anybody there. He kept his eyes 100% solely looking at McCraney, and that allowed the corner to come all the way off that under receiver and was able to pick that thing off. So when you don't use that eye discipline that I gave him some credit for earlier and you lock in onto a receiver, players are smart. They're going to see you, and they did indeed see you as they turned the ball over.
Now, one of the players setting up on the FRATMEN side of defense for this 1st and 10 is someone that is no more for basketball side in Jonathan Halou. Watch him on the top side of the defensive line, trying to get to the quarterback, thrown incomplete. But one of 2 players for the FRATMEN who have basketball experience. We'll talk more about that in a moment. After 3 quarters of play, just 56-0 to score with the running clock here at Alumni Field on We Digital Productions. We're back after this.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Welcome back to Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of FRATMEN football. They lead 56-0 with the rolling clock as they scored an unanswered 54 straight in the first half. As we're discussing here, Badi, of course, a couple different players gaining experience in different sports. First with basketball, now trying to cross over to football and provide pressure to save the quarterback here on this 2nd down completion and fumble. Picked up by Ouellette and a turnover from the Raiders.
Yeah, and this time Blake Ouellette didn't lose a handle of it. He was able to corral it in on this turnover. Good effort here by the quarterback. He does break the tackle. They do get the reception here, but then it is punched out, and it looked like it was number 26 for the FRATMEN, Jackson Roundtree, who was able to punch that ball out and give the FRATMEN an opportunity to execute another sort of red zone area. They're just outside that. If we're being technical, they're at the 21-yard line. But it's going to be Dan Mayu now taking us home in the 4th quarter. We'll see if he is going to at least try to manipulate some of these safeties. I'd like to see him, if they're going to throw, practice that. Get your eyes, see, move people around so that way you can eventually make the right reads.
Mayu passing 1st and 10 to Ryan. End zone caught, touchdown. And make it more than 60 unanswered.
And that was a teardrop. He dropped that in over the top. And that's Dan seeing a big, tall receiver, and he's going to drop that in. And Ryan did something similar that we saw Cody Holmes do. He didn't really flash his hands. He allowed this thing to drop over his shoulder here, which allows him to maybe deflect and like sort of deceive the defensive backs. But the safety was just late coming over there. And mind you, the safety's a foot shorter than Michael Ryan, so we're getting all these different big receivers involved. That's, I think, the 5th different receiver who've scored today.
Rolling clock puts us just past 2 minutes into the 4th quarter. Mayu for the 2-point conversion. Throwing corner end zone this time. Might have had a hand on it, was Beatty. Either way, incomplete.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was deflected. You're right. It could have been. Squalls had a chance at the ball there. Maybe a shade underthrown.
Either way, 2-point conversion fails. Today's game is presented by Nonus Athletic Incorporated since 1946. Nonus has been Windsor sporting equipment specialists. They're knowledgeable and experienced football experts who'll fit you with the gear you need. Visit them at their showroom at 2020 Tecumseh Road West or call 519-252-5705 to find the perfect equipment for you and your sports. 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter here. And as talked about, players trying to get some experience. Again, as talked about tonight, few trying to cross over from basketball to football, something we've seen many do in the NFL, for example.
Yeah, but most of those guys are playing on the offensive side.
Yes.
A couple of these guys are playing defense. I know back when I was coaching with the FRATMEN, we had a couple players transition and do that. But an athlete's an athlete. And most of these guys, if they, from whatever high school they played, many of them played multiple sports. If you're a quarterback, there's a good chance you might have done javelin in the track and field area. You probably played baseball in some capacity. I think I just read a stat in the NFL. I think it was like something like 75% of all quarterbacks who play in the NFL played shortstop for a bunch of years playing baseball. So there's parallels in some sports that have that. Many of the linebackers, defensive line, strong-bodied athletes wrestled. So there's some parallels in the ability of being low.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit, Niagara, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, we don't want to see that because you don't want anyone ejected. But there should be some crossover. A lot of players are going to play multiple sports, and you want athletes who have different skill sets. I don't want just straight football players. I want an athlete. And you do see that the FRATMEN right now have a tremendous amount of athletic ability. Big, tall receivers, big, tall quarterbacks. They're smaller players like McCraney, who plays like a big man. He's strong. Prier runs. He's a tall, lanky player, but runs with power. Riem also does the same thing. It's a good mix of athleticism across the board. As another fumbled snap.
This is going to be picked up by the FRATMEN, but a flag is down.
Yeah, and this is going to go back to the Raiders. This is a weird rule, too, here. It looked like Matt O'Neill, who recovered the ball, pushed the quarterback. You can't push him and recover the ball. You cannot do that. So we're going to get the call here. I'm pretty sure that's the call. It's going to stay with the Raiders.
Illegal interference on a loose ball on the defense. By rule, first down. Boo.
And that, because of the penalty, they'll recover it there. They'll give the ball back there, but they're going to reset the chains all the way back. So it should be 1st and 10 at that spot there. It's a weird rule, loose ball interference. You don't really hear it called, and you can't expect the players to necessarily know that. Well, you're going for the ball. You push people out of the way. I haven't seen that called in a while, but immediately I saw that, and I knew that was going to be the call.
I was going to say, I've been calling games for football since 2017. First time I've heard that one. Meanwhile, Finnegan passing, intercepted, picked up by the FRATMEN, and brought down at about the 20-yard line. The interception this time by Austin Stevens, the 6-foot defensive back.
Yeah, I'm proud to say that he played high school for me. I got 4 kids who have played. Actually, Matt O'Neill, who just got that last penalty, he played for me over at Essex. So did Austin Stevens. It's nice to see him get on the field, and he high points the ball. He went after it, so he says, I'm going to go take this. I want it. I'm going to intercept it. And it's nice to see that he got on the field and he picked it off. Proud to see that. Proud to say that he played for me. As long with the 2 running backs, Nash Prier and David Riem played for me at the high school as well. So I'm real proud that they're participating and they're productive in the backfield. It's a nice Red Raider backfield. And Coach Lachance has a connection with me as well. Coach Lachance actually went to Essex as well. So that's a good thing.
1st and 10 at the 18. This time's jet sweep. Sweeps backwards. That time, Paintsill on the rush. Brought down at the 25-yard line.
And there's that same player, Zechariah Willems. He's played well. That was an outstanding play. There is a bright spot right now. This kid is a baller, and he has proven that he can play this game. He has been all over the field. Good for him. When you get beat down, sometimes it's hard to keep that momentum, keep that sort of energy up. And he has not had any letdowns. He's made 3 or 4 real good plays already in this second half, even with this running clock. Kudos to him. That's very impressive with the amount of effort he's still giving.
Halfway through the 4th quarter here as the FRATMEN set up for 2nd and long. Mayu looking to pass once more. This time, the middle, off of Ryan's hands, intercepted. Picked off at the 4-yard line, the second INT by the Raiders. This time it was DZ Anakoy with the interception.
Yeah, and you just don't, again, you look at his eyes. He's staying there. He's seeing this one receiver. He's just on it. Now, I know you don't want to have tip balls, and you're not going to blame the quarterback, but there's traffic there. He did put it in a spot where his guy can catch the ball, but I think he needs to get away from just locking into one receiver. I'd like to see him come off of that. He has to scan the whole field. I think he's making his decision a little bit too early. But he does have a nice arm. He did put it in a spot where his guy could catch it, so it's not fully on him.
Anakoy, I should rather say. Apologies there with the interception, but a flag is down on 1st and 10 from the 5. FRATMEN went back to the ground here.
Yeah, and it's getting a little chippy down there. Some of the linemen are just sort of getting fed up with some of the battles going on in there, but let's try to keep our cool. There's 6 minutes run time left, so let's get through this. But we do have a flag on the field. It was thrown in the backfield in the area of holding. So we'll see as the referees conference in. It looks like Chris Patton was the one who threw the flag, so he's just going to call this, and Matt O'Neill is signaling that is against the offense.
Here's the call.
Illegal block. Block below the waist on the offense. Unnecessary roughness. Late hit on the offense. First down, repeat.
And that's going to move them back a lot. It looks like even further so.
I don't understand why this is first down repeated. It should be second down. The late hit is after the play. It's an unnecessary roughness. It should be second down. Move it back to the 1 yard line. The chop block is the chop block. You can decline that penalty and accept it. You're only going backwards to the 1, so I would venture a guess that this should be second down. I would figure because that late hit was after the play. Either way, it's moot. It doesn't really matter right now at the way the score is in this run clock. But I'm a stickler. I'm going to ask them after the game because I like to learn all the rules. So I'm going to check with the referees and ask them why wasn't that second down on that play.
We're going to go back to what would be about a 9-yard stick of distance because that was offside.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
It was one of the defensive ends for the FRATMEN who made the jump. So that'll make it now what is appearing to be first and 9 for the Raiders with 4:33 to go here. And of course, one of the main players that has been active in the defensive line tonight has been another new member of the team who didn't play in the opening week, Octavian Fanea, who had experience with the Raiders for 2 seasons. Fanea, monster players trying to bring down the rush. Brought down for a gain of a few, maybe around the 10, just shy of it.
Yeah, not much going on there. I mean, at this point in time, you just don't want to get anyone hurt. You don't want any stupid plays. We've said that a couple times already right now. Just make sure you play football within the bounds of football. Nothing stupid right now. This game's going to end in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's it. So we want everyone to be able to go into next week. Despite the score, the Raiders need to build off of last week's win. This is the class of the league. The FRATMEN are some of the best teams. They're not going to get any easier because they got Hamilton coming up. So they have to be able to get themselves situated. Now we have another flag, which means there was a little bit of a scuffle. One thing I'm noticing from the Raiders, is they're executing a lot of cut blocks right now. And late in games like that, I know the D-line and linebackers don't like it. So I'm wondering if it's a post and chop set because we already had that call earlier. Here's the next call.
Unnecessary roughness on the offense. After the play, third down.
So this is going to go all the way back to the 1 yard line, and it is going to be third down here. So that's the one thing you don't want to have.
Yeah.
Because if you keep doing that and somebody throws a punch, once you throw a punch, you're going to get ejected. The game is there's no point to it right now. So let's just hope that they take about a minute and a half to set up this punt team, and then when the FRATMEN get the ball, take one knee and call the game. Actually, the referees, once this ball is punted off, should pretty much just wheel that whistle up and blow that flag in the air. And let's just send everybody on their merry way because the last thing you want is any kind of altercation.
The FRATMEN have been in control since the opening kickoff for those just tuning in. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go on a rolling clock on We Digital Productions, as the Raiders will just take the safety and grow the lead to 64-0. FRATMEN will get the possession back with 2 minutes left, and we'll see what they elect to do here if the game is done or if they elect to play one last snap.
Well, the offense is going to take the field, but like I said, take your sweet old time right now. Chris Patton, Alex Jemmy, slow your walk down. We don't need to run that. Just slow down. Let's walk. Let's get the ball set. And then we'll run this last play. You got an update for us here?
Yes, indeed. First of all, the Windsor Spitfires, of course, are coming up with their home opener. As mentioned, single tickets are available, as well as flex pack tickets for the 2019-20 season. You can reserve your favorite seats and save money off individual games with packs of 6, 10, 15, and 22 games available. Go to WindsorSpitfires.com for more information. An update on that preseason game in Fort Erie. Spits lead now 4-3 in the third period over Niagara. 1 minute to go here in Windsor. Mayu finds McCraney on the pass. Complete at the 47. And we also have an out-of-town score update. One of the games coming up in focus is that matchup against the Beefeaters for Windsor. 32-0 London right now and late in their first half.
Yeah, London's going to be a good team this year, obviously evidenced by their 72-0 win against this very Niagara Raiders. So you're looking at Windsor, Hamilton, and London. They're all going to play each other a number of times, a couple times each, so they got to be able to at least win on the home and hopefully steal one on the road, because that's going to dictate home field advantage through the playoffs, and that's going to be a big deal.
Caught at the 40-yard line, but again, knees down on the play. That should just about do it. 64-0 your score for the Windsor AKO FRATMEN over top the Niagara Raiders, as they look to finish things up here at Alumni Field. Last play of the game. Mayu looking to pass. Scrambles left. Plants his feet to the end zone. Caught, touchdown FRATMEN.
A little bit of overkill there.
70, wow.
Juju Paintsill who gets there. And unfortunately, we can't end the game quite yet. We still have to have a convert. That was in regulation. So we can take a knee if we want, or we can run a play. But you see that Colton Allen's happy for his guys. Here's the replay. You get Dan Mayu seeing some pressure inside, so he slides a little bit to his left, and he's showing off that big arm of his. He throws it out, and he gets his receiver just running underneath it. And good play. I mean, I probably would have reserved for just taking a knee. Looks like Alex Jemmy has just foregone this extra point here. It looks like he blew the whistle and he just went with the flag. So we're going to call it a game here right now, Justin. Yep. Maybe shake hands and send everybody on their merry way.
70-0 your final score for the Windsor FRATMEN over the Niagara Raiders. That moves them to 2-0 on the season. The Raiders fall to 1-2 in 2019. Both teams will get the chance to shake hands here on We Digital Productions. A heck of a matchup, to say the least, for the FRATMEN. Post-game coverage coming up after these messages.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berman, drive the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes it right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglioni Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
Welcome back to Alumni Field, the post-game report. The AKO FRATMEN very successful here tonight in their second game of the OFC schedule. They win 70-0 over Niagara. They improved to 2-0. Niagara now falls to 1-2. Head coach Mike Lachance joins us. Coach, boy, oh boy, I know Niagara is one of those programs that are still building, struggling in some areas, but have to say your guys really came out focused tonight.
Yeah, you know what, we've got our eyes open against GTA. We didn't play particularly well. We made a lot of mistakes. We eliminated a lot of that today. Again, we got, I think, 7 receivers in on the scoring sheet. So we're trying to spread the ball around. All 5 receivers scored like they did the first week, so we're happy. I mean, you throw a shutout and score 70, there's not a lot to complain about.
We were watching the game, Coach, and I was surprised. What is it? Were the players running the routes that well? The amount of time and the area in which they found open land, I mean, unbelievable.
We have a lot of team speed, receivers-wise. Like I said earlier, we have a ton of guys who can run on this team. A lot of guys who can make people miss an open space. And today, I think a big thing was the offensive line blocked really well. They didn't have a big pass rush today. I think the only time they got pressure on our quarterbacks is a couple broken plays. So generally in the offense, if we protect our quarterback with this speed, we're going to be dangerous.
On the defensive side of the ball, we talked to Coach Morency at halftime about this. You've yet to give up a point, and tonight was even more impressive that you really shut down Niagara here.
Yeah, they didn't have much room out there. Our defense is pretty stifling at times, and we still have a couple guys out. We had our two starting defensive ends out today. So we're a pretty dangerous team. Defensively, we're very physical, and we'll see. Next week's our real test, right? We got London, and we respect London. We watched them on tape. They look like a good team, very physical team. We'll see.
Yeah, you lead me right into my next question there, Coach. You get to go on the first road trip of the season, so a way to bring the guys together a little closer, I guess. And also, you mentioned London. Now, here's a team, in talking to you before the game, you're really impressed with the size of this team.
Yeah, they're very big. They're very physical. They're definitely a lot bigger than we are. But I don't think anyone can really match what we do perimeter-wise. So we'll see. It's speed against strength. We'll see what happens.
All right. Appreciate the time, Coach. Good luck. Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Coach Mike Lachance, victorious here tonight. His team very impressive. 70-0. As mentioned, Mike and the FRATMEN go on the road next week to take on the London Beefeaters. That's at TD Waterhouse. That's a 7 o'clock game on Saturday evening. And then in 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be right back here for the FRATMEN. Another outstanding game, another big game, back-to-back weeks for the FRATMEN. The Hamilton Hurricanes will be in town. You know that's one of the best rivalries in Canadian junior football. So we'll have all the action for you right here on We Digital Productions. But for tonight, we'll celebrate this victory. Once again, the FRATMEN win over Niagara 70-0. On behalf of Justin Prince, Badia Quas, the hard-working crew behind the scenes here at We Digital Productions, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you again soon.